are actually getting to a commercialization rather than an objective, the basic objective or education for which we actually get into. A person, a student is being sold a course for lakhs of rupees or 2 lakhs of rupees or 4 lakhs of rupees, stating that, boss, you will be getting a job where you will be earning a huge number of amount and you would be thinking an all white collar job. And that's not a reality. Setting the expectation becomes very necessary in the very beginning at that time when you are actually making the person in the course. The second part that I would like to put up here is the awareness. When you're talking about, Mr. Sharma has given a presentation, the way forward. I still see probably this has been done all through the debates and a lot of distinguished people have certainly contributed. But it's to see that what is coming up and what has been there, proposed is existingly there. It is existing right now in most of the universities and which is not working. Which is absolutely not working. We are actually going and talking the same language and which actually didn't work in the past. So when I say that Mr. Siddiqui said, selectively looking and looking at our past, I think we somewhere, I don't see that.
Right. So you've basically made 2 points. We'll address that in a bit. We'll just take another question if you have a specific question that you want to.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lalit Suresh. I represent a learning enterprise called Skill, Build Your Skill. My question is that with my corporate experience, what I've seen is most of the organizations, when they visit the institutions as a dream slot when they go, and they go and pick up young graduates. The graduates who are left out in their interview sessions, either due to their soft skill sections or behavioral skills sessions, they are really good with their technical part. However, the organizations like Maruti, Lanco, Jindal, are you willing to pick up these young graduates who are left out without any job opportunities or offerings from the organizations, pick up and train these people as part of your initiative towards the society and make them employable?
I'd like to correct that, statement of yours. They're not left outs. Nobody has the right to reject any human being and any student who has actually gone through a curriculum. What happens is that somebody, you're not basically suited to the context. So to those who are left out in this whole process of evaluation, or rather not evaluation, I would say this whole process of selection, I tell them that you have probably better things to do. So, it's not that, that attitude that we are rejecting is not the issue. We have the limitations or inhibited or limited by the numbers that we can take, number one. Number two, certain things fit us directly, some things don't fit us. So it's actually the question of fitting. It's not a question of being rejected. So the ones who are leftovers are not a leftover of, they're not vegetables. So I think as HR people, we need to be more conscious and sensitive to this. That, students are students, in fact, should never be given. In fact, before I even start the process, I make it clear that we have a limitation. I wish we could select all of you. The point is that, why not? I mean, whosoever is there, we at times go later in the day when others have selected, they made their choices and people have lesser options. So we've selected them all.
The truth doesn't change though.
Yes, exactly.
In terms of
yes,
all men are equal, some are more equal than others. So
right.
That is always going to be the case. It's not taking away from that. I think the point is a very valid one. To begin with, I'm not sure corporate houses can so-called adopt or adopt these, the ones that didn't get selected through this process. But even providing basic feedback in terms of which could be used for developmental purposes, right. I think could be a first good step to be taken. So if your communication skills are not up to the mark, and if there is any specific feedback that ought to be given to that individual, then that should be provided. I think that's the first step to really making this work in a more meaningful way.
The other part I talked about this relationship with the campuses. You prepare them well so they are not left out.
Yes, that's very good.
Let us not get into a situation that there are people who are left out and then we adopt that. In my thinking, will not be a very healthy, sustainable process.
Absolutely.
I think this relationship should help the institute to build students so that nothing is left out, end of the placement season. And in terms of education system, looking at, the other gentleman mentioned, I talked about selectively looking at the past, not really. Selectively deleting the past. Looking at past, then I think we are gone. Huh? If we start selectively looking at the past, then I think we are finished. But selectively deleting the past, that's a very, very unique capability we need to develop. Because हम लोग की आदत ये है कि कोई अगर पॉलिथीन में सामान भी लेके आएंगे उसे भी बच्चे के दहेज के लिए आगे रख लेंगे छुपा के. That polythene also, I don't know, somewhere in life will come. But capability to delete, therefore, is very tough.
But it shouldn't be at your convenience. It should be something that will make a difference.
Principle deletion.
It should be
It's like
principle.
principle
Actually,
deletion.
It should be
Yeah, it's
related to some refinement restructuring. Because unless you create this deletion space, you cannot acquire something new.
True. Okay, so on that note, I think we'll wrap it up. That's all the time we have for now. Maybe one question from the ladies.
Yeah, no, it's not a question. I'm just requesting for 1 minute. It's a suggestion.
Right.
And I'd like it to address to Deepak, wherein I completely agree with you, wherein we say that we have to expand our horizon and think out of the box. I'd like to compliment Times Job if they're looking at women workforce and tapping. You know, I'll just address and suggest two things to it. One is women who are on sabbatical for their personal reasons, where Times Job comes in the picture. Bridging the gap between industry and academia probably begins from recruitment, from placement itself. You know, when the interviews are happening, perhaps we could, I'm not getting into gender bias, but perhaps we could identify roles where women could be more productive vis-a-vis men, and roles as in corporate, you know, we all know roles where women are more productive, and as corporates, you could have programs which are run for women.
Maybe you can have a more gender
Yeah,
bias.
I wanted to, yes, I wanted to say so, but I thought, you know, it should be off. Thank you.
She is talking about gender neutrality now.
Yes.
It's not gender bias.
Great. I think we've got quite a few suggestions and action points. I think it's time we wrap it up now and call upon Mr. Gupta from Sharda University, the Vice Chancellor, for the vote of thanks. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on the panel.
Thank you. Thank you, Shivani, for
Thanks.
conducting it.
I think he just finished the vote. Thanks.
My dear friends, let me first express my sincere gratitude to timesjob.com, who have come forward and who have made this program a success. I am also extremely thankful to the industry leaders who spent their time to come over here and discuss. It was a wonderful discussion. Though I have come here to listen to you and not really talk, but little bit being a professor, you know, I will talk little, not much, because times also, we don't have time also. You see, the only thing I want to tell you that whatever Mr. Sharma has communicated to you, I want to tell you that we are very serious. You all know, I also know, everybody knows that we have been talking about industry-institute interaction since ages. Since ages we are talking about it. But I think this is the high time when we all have understood that we are complementary to each other. I think industry cannot do without academia, and academia cannot do without industry. Both are having their own problems. Industry has their own problems. They don't have time. They have targets, and so on and so forth. The academia has its own problems. We have a scarcity of faculty. We don't have good quality faculty. Students also are there. Many of them are really not interested. Many of them are interested. So every one of us has a problem. But what I want to tell you, that we very well understand that our job, the job of the academia is to create human resource which has certain competences. And those competences which have been already communicated are like problem solving skills, creativity, agility. No, these are the challenges before us. We have to create these competencies. You see, we have to, as rightly said, we have to create human resource which is not industry ready, which is life ready. That is a very good word which has been coined over here, that who can take on the challenges. He has the capability. You see, this question is, from ages, people are, industry says that we need industry ready. The technology is changing so fast that if you teach a skill today, tomorrow it will be obsolete. And that is the basic difference between a university and an ITI institute or a simple competency skill delivering institute. So a university system has to provide the generic skills, the generic sets with the capability that he can take on any kind of challenge that comes in future. He can solve the problems. He has the capability. So this is a challenge before us. Now my only submission to the industry people over here and to my own people who are already over here, see, let us take it on. See, otherwise what happens? We organize these meetings, we talk to each other and then go home. I forget what I did over there. They also said, okay, we went there and that's it. And therefore, it is very, very important that we identify people, as Mr. Sharma has already communicated. We will identify people from our institution, from our university, and let some people be identified from the industry as well, so that we can communicate on a regular interval. Selecting a student by the industry to come on the campus, spend 1 or 2 days, I think better than this is that the industry is involved with the institution in some way or the other. For example, the joint research projects, by the run by the students. We have a human resource. We have a tremendous human resource with us. We are not able to exploit the talent. And therefore, if we both come forward, if industry come forward, we also are there. If we can use their resources, they are very intelligent. The students are very intelligent. What they can do, we cannot do it. And therefore, let us try to, implement it. Implementation is very, very important. With this, I once again thank the industry people to come over here. I also thank Mr. Sharma, Mr. Verma, Mr. Shastri, and all my colleagues and everyone for making this program a great success. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Very well said, sir. I am the Director of Training, Development and Placement. Soft skills, industry training, placements. We get people from corporates also, we have in-house arrangements also. We do. We have certain internal constraints actually. We do organize management development programs, we do a lot of other things actually. But we have huge student strength, and the first priority is to make these students acceptable so that they create a career for themselves and bring a kind of recognition for themselves. Yes, we have training agencies, we have outsourced some soft skills development, a lot of this thing. We have various kinds of models actually. Okay. आपका कार्ड आपसे लिया था मैंने शायद नहीं लिया.
Just a little announcement before you all leave. There's high tea and snacks on the side, so before you all step out, please help yourselves.